Cadillac's hit music station, 107.9 CDY. It is Cadillac Unscripted. It is Saturday morning, so we're going to pause the music for about 30 minutes and engage in some local chat. It is sponsored by Independent Bank as well as our friend Marianne Quist of Remax Central. We have talked with realtors before on this program.
We have.
Now we're going to talk with builders for the first time on this program.
And they have got a lot going on, these boys. With us this morning, we have Matt and Alex Hamacher. Matt is a longtime local builder, and his son, Alex, is a builder that works with him full-time and also owns, what's the name of your company, Alex?
It's Up North Custom Woods.
So he's a custom woodworker too, Rich.
Okay.
And these guys they can do it all. You know, they can do remodels, they can do full builds, they can, you name it, they can do it. So welcome, guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So tell us about what's going on out there. I mean, there was 3 months when you couldn't do anything. You had people getting ready to dig. So now, are you backed up? Is it crazy?
So, yeah, it's pretty much just like you think it might be. So we just start this ginormous remod addition up on Lake Miwataka.
Whoa.
We get it all tore apart. We have structural work we're doing, and then COVID, March 18 happens, or whatever
Yikes.
day when we are
You had to tap the brakes.
shut down. Everybody's nervous and scared, so we had to tap the brakes. And then what?
Right. And so your poor homeowners, you know, they had a finish date, and you had all your subcontractors lined up.
We had it all going on. Everybody had their ducks in a row, and we were going to actually potentially be done a little early.
Oh my gosh.
And then all of a sudden we went, 9 weeks.
Yeah.
Just hit the brakes, nothing to do. Except in that 9 weeks, I completely remodeled my own kitchen.
Wonderful. That makes Mrs. Hamacher so happy.
Oh my gosh. We talked about it for the last couple of years, and so we got it all done finally.
It's the ultimate lemons lemonade scenario, isn't it?
It really was for her.
Oh, bad for Brenda. I'm chuckling because, you know, you hear about plumbers with leaky faucets, and they say that a builder's house is the last to be completed.
I'll tell you what, there's always a project. Yes. I call it my new house, but it's been almost 15 years now. So stuff's not new anymore.
Yeah, that's right. So can you tell us about supply and demand and supplies, meaning your lumber, your materials, are they on back order?
So it's totally chaos right now in most of our local lumber yards. I know that the Builders First in Cadillac is down 600 sheets of plywood.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
So people are waiting for it now.
Oh, my gosh.
And what are you going to do with that? And not only that, they're double the cost.
Oh, no. So let me ask you something, Matt. If you bid a house before at X and now this happens, how do you handle something like that?
So a lot of our stuff, if it was just bid out and we have official bid sheets out, they will honor their cost.
Oh, wonderful.
Back to a certain day.
Okay.
But anything new coming up,
right.
I'm hoping we get a plateau here soon.
Wow.
One of the things I asked them before they went on the air, $150,000 house costs $150,000 to build. The cost for it a year ago at $150,000. What would it be now?
I think it's $170,000.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Up that much.
Of course, you can't really build a new house for $170,000 right now.
Okay, I see.
But that would be the difference.
Okay, so what's contributing to that is materials, not labor.
Correct. Our labor price has not changed.
Wow.
I was just telling Rich before you got here that I have this job lined up next, just a small job, but I had to call the owner the other day and say, we're still on board. Okay. We appreciate you being patient. You realize we can't do anything about our timelines.
Yes.
And he was real understanding that my cost is not changing.
Good.
But my material costs are going to be 20% more.
Isn't that something?
And he says, well, it's totally not your fault. We've been hearing this is what's going on out and about. But
people are still even with an increase in cost, there are no houses. I mean, there's a housing shortage. So your phone's still blowing up, Matt.
My phone is still ringing
every day, all day, every day. It gets hard to work sometimes because he just always has to answer his phone. I tell him to throw it in the lake probably a dozen times a day because we're working right on the lake.
Yes.
So
just toss it in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick of it.
Gosh. So when you look at 2021, is it overwhelming the amount of work that's out there, or you just have to take it one project at a time?
So right now you can't look. I mean, a lot of guys are looking out. We could book out that far, and we have a couple projects for next spring. We don't have a house quite yet for next year, but we will have. I mean, the housing market is really strong, but it's becoming out of the cost for some people.
Right.
Because
for the price range, they can't swing it.
Right. You can't build a new house. You can build a starter house.
Sure.
For, $190 a square foot.
Isn't that something?
And what it was, I think in 2010 it was like 90.
Oh my goodness. So this is skyrocketing.
Since 2000, yeah, right after the Great Depression, I call it.
The crash.
That's when
2008,
it happened in the building world up here anyway.
Yes.
So it was shortly after that when cement doubled in price and asphalt shingles went crazy, and it's just a whole gauntlet of things that bring us currently.
So you two rely on each other. You know you're going to show up to work. You know you're going to honor your commitments. What does the labor force look like out there?
So I have obviously a lot of friends that are in the same line of work that I am.
Right.
He said, and they say, I am so thankful for Alex every day. I tell him, I says, if you decide you want out, you need to let me know.
Yeah. You can't go anywhere, Alex.
Lots of advance notice too, right?
Yes.
Christmas won't be fun at your house.
I'll get behind him and support him no matter what. But from what we hear is, it's part of this, and pardon me, but the millennial group are not motivated to work more than a day or two a week.
That's a good gig, Rich.
You laugh at that.
That's not funny.
But coming from the career technical world, I mean, this is what we're trying to teach. We're trying to teach soft skills like showing up on time, like being a dedicated worker, and that's kind of in short supply right now. And obviously, you guys have seen it.
Oh, it's out there like crazy. The labor. If we're not careful with the labor end of things, nationwide, these structures and all these high rises, they're not going to find people to do this kind of work.
Well, you've raised 4 kids.
I have.
So, and your kids are hard workers. So what's the secret?
You have to be involved with your children, know what they're up to, and be supportive of what they choose to do, hands down, no matter what. Mm-hmm. Whether it's good decisions or bad, sometimes you got to let those bad decisions ride out.
Right.
And then you can say, in a nice way, well, I was trying to tell you that.
Mm-hmm. Did you learn something? Oh, Alex thinks that's funny. He remembers some of these conversations.
I've been doing this since I could walk,
mm-hmm.
so that's a big help in my upbringing and my passion into what I do for a living now.
Right.
So
you were raised with it.
Right. Exactly, and it's really all I know at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. I don't anticipate a career change for you anytime soon. You both are still smiling, and you're both having a good time. If someone's thinking about building, Matt, and they're looking at their options, and they're out, maybe they're out with a realtor looking at houses, and they can't find anything, in their price range, what advice would you give a consumer that's thinking about building?
So I really think you need to do your homework if you're thinking about building.
Okay.
And a lot of it is you need to have. My current customer, she's the best. This is their first build of any kind, this giant addition. So the addition is as big or bigger than the house
that
they're remodeling. And it's their fun house.
Oh.
So, but she is so organized. She knows exactly what she wants. And if you know what you're looking for going into it, rather than being, do I want painted trim or do I want oak trim or what kind of flooring do I want?
That's got to be frustrating.
What kind of finish of the drywall is going to be, and what's my kitchen going to be, and what's all this going to be? Well, she was the best as far as that goes.
She went and did her homework.
She did all of her homework ahead of time, and we made some changes along the way. But I'll tell you what, it's so much easier for us if you guys know what you really want in a house.
So
we're not mind readers. Like you tell us what you want, then you're going to get that.
I see.
Well, can I ask though, has there been a situation in your career where you clearly differed in opinion and from a practical standpoint and they listened to you?
Every time.
Good.
That's
So
great.
I did have a customer in the last few years, and we won't go into that, but probably my most difficult customer in my career of 30 years.
Oh, my.
And it was actually just really awful for us. We could not get done out of there soon enough.
Right.
No, that's for sure.
So when someone's deciding, Matt, though, what if they want oak or what color paint or what, is this where they should be going to showrooms and they should be going to lumber yards and writing things down? And
Absolutely. Make a list of things that you like and
Okay.
things you definitely don't like. And as far as her name's Leslie goes, Pinterest is her best friend.
I see. So she gets ideas off of Pinterest and she shows them to you and you say, I can do that.
We can do that. That's for sure. Alex runs a little shop that he makes custom kitchens and custom furniture. And then we have this whole little bedroom that's their bedroom now. But when we get the addition done, it's going to be her walk-in pantry. And then he'll custom make things for that. And that's what he went to school for, was custom furnitures and doing projects like that. So, and that's real handy for me as the license holder, the contract guy, for him to be able, and he can just go in and say, well, this is what this takes, and he'll make it happen.
How about the supply right now, Alex? How does that affect your line of work? Same thing, or not quite as much?
Not so much
Okay.
right now. People are looking for bigger projects, so like additions onto their homes, decks. So it hasn't affected at least my cost on materials.
I see.
It more has affected the delivery and transport of the materials because everybody's so backed up. You know, it takes longer to get materials. So that makes it hard to plan ahead. So
I see. Okay. So you're really able to offer people a little bit more in terms of that's a nice bonus to say, okay, we're going to come in and build your house. By the way, if you need something custom done, a member of the team is able to do that.
correct.
Yeah, I love that idea, and it sells good.
Sure.
I mean, it's a nice thing. People, the thing about me is, and I've said this for my whole career, is if you hire me, you get me.
Right. You're the one throwing the hammer.
Right. I like the guy being out there doing it.
Great.
I want to frame it. I want to roof it. I want to put the siding on.
If your name is on it, you want to be proud.
Right. I mean, I don't do 5 houses a year because it just can't physically happen for me. I can only work so many hours. And back in the day, just before the big crash, maybe 06, 07, when things were just really cranking then too.
I remember.
We had guys working. For the first time ever, I had guys, 5, 6, couple crews going. We're doing all this. Juggling. And after about a year or 18 months, I went, well, I didn't make any money this year, and I'm just absolutely miserable because I'm just chasing.
Yes.
And I'm not good at chasing.
I see. Yes.
I want to be in charge of it. And not that it's a power thing, but at least I know it's getting the way I want it done.
The
my
two
customers.
words that come to mind are quality control.
Absolutely.
Right, and it sounds like you didn't have that level of quality control that you would have liked back then.
No, not at all. I had to go back, and I would go back and fix things the way I liked them, and it's like, I just can't do this anymore. And it wasn't any fun.
No, because you want, when you're done, you want it to be something that you're proud of, and you want people really happy and saying wonderful things. Would you allow someone that wants to build, would you take them through another home that you built before if they wanted to?
Do it all the time.
Do you? Okay.
Yep, I recommend it.
Right.
Yeah, and I always tell people, I says, I've got lots of houses in town. Let's go see what's your style, because I probably have one in that style somewhere.
And that gives them even more ideas.
Right.
And then you can wrap your brain around where they're going with this.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really miss about not having our Parade of Homes anymore.
I remember how
'Cause
fun that was.
I remember when you guys would come through, and it'd be the whole town would come through the Parade of Homes.
Awesome. It showcased you guys.
It was great, and it was good for all of us.
It sure was. Yeah,
I mean,
I met lots of people doing that. I met lots of builders and lots of folks from downstate that had second homes up here that were on the parade.
Yeah.
What is stopping us from doing that again?
Well, right now, COVID. But
Well, yes, but assuming that wasn't
So we don't have a current association here in Cadillac.
Okay.
and we used to have a chapter here. And years ago, a lot of us who worked in the industry, I was president for a while. Richard Klaus was.
I was on the board.
All those guys. Katie was on the board.
Yes.
Corey Denman was on our stuff.
Jim Peterson.
Jim
who had
Peterson
Winston
was on.
Top guys. Really good folks.
Right. And we had a lot of builders in the area and that were really good then.
Yes.
It seems to be a smaller crowd now.
It sure. Oh, it's the herd has been thinned.
The herd has been thinned
because people couldn't make it through. Construction pretty much stopped for a while, Rich.
Right.
And, one of the builders I worked with turned into a cattle farmer. I mean, people had to change lanes.
So now, pre-COVID, things are hopping. Fewer builders out there in 2019 than there were in 2006.
Definitely.
Okay.
100%.
Why is that?
Because there went a little space there where there wasn't a ton of work.
Right.
I mean, we had maybe 3 years there. I feel very blessed and fortunate to have survived 07 and 08. At that time, I had about 2 years worth of work lined up. I had a couple of good houses, and I'm just like, thank you so much for that, because otherwise I could have easily been one of those that you couldn't make it on or move to a different state.
And we had local builders that did that. We lost builders to other states.
We did. North Carolina,
yes.
one I'm thinking
of. Me too. Yep.
And, that's just how it was. You had to provide for your family.
Yes. Right. You had food on the table.
Right.
We will continue our conversation with Matt and Alex Hamacher after this word from our sponsors and a check of your forecast with Morris Langworthy on 107.9 CDY. Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by our friends at Independent Bank as well as Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central. Buying a home is still the great American dream. And yes, it can be an intimidating process, but you can rest assured and have confidence when the professionals from RE/MAX Central are in your corner to guide you through it. Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central has helped hundreds of home buyers in and around the Cadillac area navigate the process over the years, and she's ready to help you too. From start to finish, from finding a home to submitting an offer, to understanding the purchase agreement, to inspections, surveys, and appraisals, to the time when you finally sit down and sign those closing documents, Marianne will be there. When you're ready to buy, talk to Marianne Quist at RE/MAX Central. See her listings at teamquist.com. Cadillac Unscripted is sponsored by Independent Bank and Marianne Quist of RE/MAX Central, and we continue our conversation now with father-son builders Matt and Alex Hamacher.
Rich, this is kind of a fun fact about Matt. He has a side hobby that he's really, really good at. Guess what it is?
I do not know.
You need to tell.
So I like to smoke meats.
Yummy.
I knew that because your daughter, Sophie, was in my class for 2 years at CTC, and I remember her telling me, my graduation party is coming up, and my dad's in charge of the meat.
Whoa.
I remember that now. Yes.
So for certain friends, we always, and still up until this year, was the first year that I didn't do any open houses for friends. Usually it's the pulled pork. I might smoke 500 pounds in a season for open house season. Right. And so now I just did a couple the other night for us.
Yeah, the kids are going, yay! Yeah. Come back to us, Dad. But he makes food that people actually want to eat. And so one open house that I was at, I mean, people weren't talking because they were shoveling the food at these long banquet tables. And I just got such a kick out of it because I thought, he's a man that wears many hats.
I do. I'm all about being, for some reason, busy.
Yes.
How did you discover you had a talent for being a meat smoker? So
I took up as a hobby maybe 10 years ago. I've always been the grill guy in my house, and it goes back from my dad. My dad, his name was Jerry, and he used to make six-pack chicken. And I'm like, people say, what the heck is six-pack chicken? He says, well, when these 6 beers are gone, chicken's done. That's one of my favorite memories of my dad. He's been gone now for quite a while, but
man, I thought you were going to talk about where to put the beer up in the chicken and put it. Yeah,
no. I thought it was going to be beer can chicken.
No, sorry. When that 6 beers is done, that chicken is done.
Oh,
so.
That is outstanding. Is that's one of those Who Wants to Be a Redneck or those funny jokes like that? That's outstanding. So you miss him. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I do. He was a great guy, and he was a heck of a woodworker himself, crafty type stuff.
Okay.
So he and my mom would make presents at Christmas for the whole family, and really neat things. Not Not like stuff like I do. More stuff that Alex would be gifted at doing than me.
Oh, so this is a family thing. I mean, this is generational with this woodworking and building.
Yeah, for sure.
Where did you boys get your schooling? I mean, how does someone become a builder?
So I went to the school of hard knocks.
Oh, we know that school, Rich.
It's tuition free.
It is tuition. It is definitely tuition free, but not pain free.
You got that right.
So I've been married to my lovely wife for like 36 years now.
Incredible.
And we were in Grand Rapids just living our lives, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
19 and 20, had a baby.
Whoa.
What the heck are we going to do, you know? She was always real self-supportive and supportive of what I wanted to do. And I had a couple meaningless jobs, young. And then a friend of mine says, well, I know a guy who's looking for some carpentry help.
I see.
Just on a whim. And I'm not kidding when I say within about 3 months of working for this guy, I knew what I was doing.
Is that right? It was a calling. You loved it.
From then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But there's a precision involved in doing what you do, and not everyone has that.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely, you're absolutely right about that, Rich. It is something you either get or don't get.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
And it's amazing a lot of people don't. You know, I get, every day he says, Alex say, how long do you think that is? And I can usually get within a half an inch just by looking at it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding?
Yeah, just yesterday he says, we're doing some soffit work on this addition we got going on. And he says, how long is that? I says, 22. Put the tape on it. Just cut it.
No kidding? Yep. Just cut it. You don't even need to measure. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once.
Right.
See, years ago in radio, for radio people, it used to be, okay, how long is the song and how long do I have to go to the bathroom?
Oh, totally. I remember. I remember that.
Stairway to Heaven was always the time to go take a potty break, right?
That and the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah, for sure.
It really did happen.
6, 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
American Pie.
Yeah, right.
So running and running back and
and hoping it's not skipping as you. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So how many years have you been in the game?
So I've been my own boss since 1994.
Okay.
And then I had probably 3 or 4 years prior to that. Okay. Living in Grand Rapids is where I cut my teeth, so to say. And
it's 26 years, Matt.
Yeah.
That you've been self-employed. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's been 30 years about that I've been swinging a hammer, and that's just my calling. Of course, my body's paying for it.
I was just going to talk about spring chickens. We have a spring chicken over here, but this is not a spring chicken.
This is not a spring chicken, but you know what? We still put on 18 squares in one day yesterday with the two of us, and you just get it done. You sleep good at night?
I'll bet. And you both are physically fit. So I have a question for Alex. The dynamic of Matt being your dad and strong family, strong faith. I mean, the Hamachers are a force. But is that ever hard to work with Dad?
So for me, not even a little.
All right.
Me and my dad get along together so well. Yeah. And I feel very blessed to be able to do what I do with my old man.
I love
it. It's just, we have such a good relationship. We pretty much know what each other's thinking, There's no explanation of what we're doing.
You just know what's coming next.
Right. We just know who's going to do what.
You're simpatico. You've known each other so long.
Correct.
That you
His whole life.
You know what he expects of you.
Yep.
And vice versa.
It's a whole different level, when you're working with somebody like that for all those times. And even when he was just a punk kid not really paying attention, turns out he was paying attention.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But I also, the undercurrent that I'm observing here is there's a mutual respect for each other.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, yeah, for sure.
So when you're meeting with customers, Dad's playing lead and Alex is your wingman.
So, yeah, maybe 3 years ago on big jobs that we know a potential house coming up, I will intentionally take him.
Smart.
To show him how I talk with customers and how we talk about starting a relationship with a new house. Because when you build a new house, you're not just getting a house, you're getting us.
Right.
You know, we're gonna see you, and we're gonna be friends, and we're gonna hang out.
You know, it's so true. I remember the open house that I was referring to where you'd done the meat. I was the banker on that. You were the builder on that. And then guess who's running the open house and smoking meat? And I think that says a lot about your company when you get it all done and you're still friends.
Right.
Because that doesn't always happen.
And that was a big project.
It sure was, yes. But you get it all done and you're still friends. It just says a lot about how you communicated along the way, setting expectations and then meeting them.
Right.
Sounds to me like when you do business with the Hamachers, it's 50% building and 50% relationships.
I think that's pretty fair.
Wow.
Because we're in that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in town all the time. We're always going out. And, you know, on weekends we like to go visit our local restaurants. And you see people, like everybody does that, you know. And but sometimes it's different when we're there together, you know.
Right.
One thing I feel like we're strong people persons. Is that right? Yeah.
You're people.
Yeah.
People.
We like to talk to people, and we like to go out and mingle and do things like that.
And your wife's career has been all about interacting with people too.
Oh, all right. That's for sure. No question.
I mean, are you ever tired?
Well,
you have no idea.
Yeah. I've been tired a lot lately.
Well,
but
Alex has a 9-month-old. He's tired.
He's definitely way more tired than me.
Isn't that something?
But I don't sleep like I used to, and you know, I got stitches last Friday.
Oh no!
In my hand because we're trying to put this roof together quick, and went to see my doctor.
Oh yes.
And left the job, and we were back in an hour. I had a couple stitches in my hand. We finished out the afternoon.
Oh, for crying out loud!
It was literally 1 hour that I was gone, and my customer's like, "I don't know how you do that." I said, "Let me tell you, it's all about who you know."
She was waiting with the stitches.
She literally was.
Oh, that's awesome.
So going back to the relationship with our customers, that's a big part of our business is making our customer feel like their voice is heard.
Right. And
that trust, and just making them feel like they're part of us.
Right. You're a team.
Right. And our customer's the biggest part of the team, because without their customer, there's no us.
Right.
So we make them feel as comfortable and just trusted as much as we can.
Let me ask, how much of success in building comes from word of mouth?
I'm thinking just about all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just about. I get calls at least once a month wanting me to advertise on placemats and
you don't need to.
Doing things like this. And the only time I ever advertised was Parade of Home Books,
right,
and this type of thing. Other than that, I've never really done much, because it's a small town and you know everybody, you live here.
Right.
And you want to keep good relationships.
So
with
are there
everybody.
families that you've built multiple homes for?
So I'm getting ready to start my first multiple home.
Awesome.
This fall. So, and then I've had call for another one that I built in a parade home maybe in 2006 that are interested in a new home.
Isn't
for
that
maybe
great?
For maybe next year. So yeah, I really feel humbled when things like that happen.
Well, if you do a good job consistently and for long enough, you're rewarded for that. And that's what's happening in your career.
Right. And it's, like I said, I'm humbled by some of that, because it's just like, it's just me, right? That's just how I feel.
Aww.
But people will get to watch us build one here. We're going to be right on, as long as it all works out with you and everybody else right in town. So
exciting. And people love to watch houses grow and be built up. And they drive by and go, oh, look, they're putting the trusses on it. Oh, like they just do. They're interested.
It's always so funny, because every time we're working somewhere where there's any neighbors, I could watch you guys work all day.
Why don't you come over here and why don't you come over here and carry some 2x4s?
Better yet, put a camera in the window.
Yes, please.
And make a time lapse
Oh, I
out of it.
love it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, where they look like they're running around frantically
Yes.
and the house goes up quickly.
Yes.
You know, I like that idea.
Yeah, we can do it in a week, right? We can just get it all done in a week that way. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
Everybody
I don't think
look
they better
away for a little bit and it'll be fine.
Oh, abracadabra, all the peanut butter sandwiches, the house is done. Oh my gosh, the Hamacher boys, Alex and Matt, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having us too, and we really appreciate you guys too.
At this point, you don't need the business, but if somebody wants to talk to you about something, how do they get a hold of you?
So yeah, you can look at my website if you like, but otherwise you can contact me directly at 231-920-9913. And I promise if it's in the daytime, you can text me. It might be easier than me actually trying to call. But we're always looking for new builds coming up. You know, we're always busy, it seems like, but we're never not busy enough to talk to you about a project.
Yeah,
So-
well, you could put them on the docket for
Yeah,
a future
yeah,
build.
and that's what's happening a lot right now, especially with current where we're at with COVID and all this stuff. You know, windows are taking 8 to 9 weeks to get. Roof trusses that were taking 2 to 3 weeks to get are now taking 7 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So for
Just be patient.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for all the clients, not even just for me, but for everybody else who's working with builders, you just need to give them a little break
Okay.
because there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, thank you for the beautiful homes that you're putting up in the community, and we really enjoyed talking to you guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the Hamachers on Cadillac Unscripted, 107.9 CDY, which is brought to you by our friends at Independent Bank as well as Remax Central Marianne Quist. We will do it again, same time, same station, next Saturday morning at 8:30 on 107.9 CDY.